First of all, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was born in Burns Lake, British Columbia, which is about 3 hours north of Prince George, a small little town of about 1,000 people. And then when I was 8, I moved to Victoria, BC, and that's sort of been home for the past 13 years or so. And then most recently, the past few years, Oakville, Ontario has been home because I've been studying musical theater there at Sheridan College, just outside of Toronto.
Now, you're one of the performers of the Dreamcatcher. Tell us how you got involved in the show.
They did their cross-Canada tour auditioning alongside the workshops that they led for the youth of Canada. And they came to Sheridan, and there was something like 80 or 90 of us who saw this contract, and it looked absolutely incredible, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I got in there, and we did this dance call, and it was super fun. It sort of blended all these different styles of dance, street, Indigenous, jazz, a little bit of contemporary. And I was just so excited about this fusion and sort of exploring this style that I've never got to perform on stage, and I guess they sort of liked what they saw, and they asked me to come into Toronto the next day and sing for them. And I got to chat with the creative team a little bit, which was lovely because, oftentimes in an audition setting, they just sort of want to know the stats, how high you can kick, how many turns you can do, how high you can sing. But it was different in this instance because they actually asked me about my background and, my cultural heritage and sort of my morals and my beliefs and like who Josh is. And that was really lovely to have people on the other side of the table really wanting to know who I was and what I could bring to this project and what I could contribute of myself.
Now, Dreamcatcher's musical debuts this weekend in Anzac at the Recreation Center. Then it starts really an Alberta tour. Bring us inside Dreamcatcher's, Josh, and tell us what the show's all about.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, it's a brand new musical. It features all Canadian music. So Mary Frances Moore and Nick Ward are Mi'kmaq Elder and 2 other First Nations artists traveled across the country. And each province and territory, they did a workshop with the kids and a local artist there. And it was a theater workshop about, expressing yourself, and it melded traditional sort of Western theater games with First Nations culture, and they all got to make a dream catcher, and they talked about what their dream is for the future and for Canada. And from those workshops, these artists created songs about the dreams of the youth of Canada, and Mary Frances Moore, our playwright, has sort of woven all these songs and spoken word pieces and choreographies that have come from all these artists, and it's this piece that really celebrates Canada 150, but from a unique perspective, because I think a lot of us, it's Canada 150. It's so exciting. Canada does so many great things. We're so ahead of the world in human rights in so many ways, but there's a lot of issues that are still very present in the country when it comes to First Nations, Métis, Inuit issues, with our Indigenous folk in the country. So this musical really celebrates what we have done and says, we've come a long way, but we also have a long way to go. And it asks some pretty big questions to the audience and, leaves the audience walking away having some great tunes, but also going, whoa, I can make a change. I can educate myself on some of the issues that have happened in this country and are still going on, and I can be a part of that change. And the youth of the country have these huge dreams, and some are huge and some are small, but they all have these beautiful, positive opinions about the future and about the world and what Canada can look like, and our show sort of realizes or tries to realize those dreams for them.
The Dreamcatchers debuted in PEI in Ottawa on National Aboriginal Day 2 months ago. What was the reception like on the first few shows?
People were blown away, because traditionally this show opens on Canada Day. So for it to open on June 21st, National First Peoples Day, formerly known as National Aboriginal Day, was a huge metaphor that said, hey, people came before Canada, there's people that have been living on this land for over 10,000 years, and people were excited to learn that. And they said, I'm just shocked that I didn't know that. And they were so entertained by the music, and there were tears and there were laughter. And from our cast that was in Gatineau, Ottawa, when they opened, and for us in Charlottetown, people have just been absolutely blown away. They say this needs to get into all the schools, this needs to tour across Canada again, this can't be the last time, can't be the last tour. So it's been a very positive experience, just lots of learning and laughter, and it's been awesome.